says, because I really felt that she's in a good, strong place. I told Shoshi, my mom is not falling apart, you know. The worst thing that I was afraid of that moment, that she will fall apart, that she won't be able to handle the situation. And it's like it's the most natural thing to happen on such a scary, horrible situation. But no, she was strong, and like you saw before in the video, she kept on saying, "Thank you, Hashem." She kept on saying, "I know I'm safe. I know nothing can happen to me." And she kept on saying, "Thank you" all the time. And it's a very, very high spiritual place to be able to say thank you, even when everything is darkness around us, you know. So it's the greatest. Yeah, you can see by her face the mood that she's in, yeah, that she's so afraid. And it was also frustrating that no one came in for so many hours. And after we started texting, she's writing to me that they're on next door because people are writing. And it's really, really close. It's like I don't know, 10 steps or something from her door. And the next minute she's writing there at her door, trying to break in the house. And one more minute, and she's saying they're at my safe room door. And I'm like stopping to breathe for a minute because it's really, really scary. I already had a Tehillim book in my hand, but I'm not able even to open it up. And the phone is on my other hand. And I'm not texting anything because I know my mom's phone is on silent, but I don't want you to make any noise. And I'm starting to say, Shir HaMa'alot, Asayna El Harim, Ma'in Yavo Ezri. And I say this chapter in Tehillim over and over and over again, because I couldn't think of anything else. I was terrified. And I'm saying the chapter and I'm looking on the phone all the time, and it's like 18 minutes until my mom's texting. I can see that she's texting. And I'm breathing, and I'm starting to say Mizmor Todah, Terekuf. And then she's writing that it's quiet, and then she said that she hear them on the sidewalk talking. And the next text was that they are at the neighbors just on the other side of the sidewalk, you know, just in front of her house. Yes, they passed away. They were murdered. Most of the people from my mother's neighborhood were murdered. And from the kibbutz Adol, about 100 people were murdered that day. Men, women, and little children. I don't know all these things at that time, yeah? I just know what she's saying. And we keep on texting. And for the next almost 2 hours, this happens 4 times. That she's writing to me there at her door, trying to break in. And for almost 20 minutes, I'm saying Shir HaMa'alot. And once she's writing, she's okay, I'm starting to say Mizmor Todah. And we're sitting in Shoshi's salon, and it's like the weirdest position I've ever been in. I'm sitting with the Tehillim on one side, and the phone is on my other hand. And I'm like this. Even when I'm saying Tehillim, I'm looking at the phone all the time to see what's going on. And I'm texting with my mother all the time, all those good, healing, trusting things. And then she's saying that her battery is not going to hold on for a long time because there's no electricity. Her phone battery. And I managed to do a screenshot of how to save battery. I'm very proud of myself because I didn't know how to do it like a few days before that my sons told me. And I'm sending this to her, and luckily, because usually she doesn't understand it also, she managed to do it, and it gave us like almost 4 hours of battery afterwards. Yes, so that we were texting. My brother is not Shomer Torah v'Mitzvot, also is not religious. He was outside the kibbutz from not early morning, but like early noon. And he was texting with her all the time also. And he told her that once that the soldiers will arrive, he'll do everything to come and save her. And around 5:30 a.m., afternoon, he's texting her that he's gonna come in with soldiers and tanks to save them. And I'm like, tanks? How come? Why? What for? You know? It's a kibbutz. It's like the countryside. There's no way tanks are gonna go in there. What's happening there? But I still don't think about it for too long because I can't allow myself to think about it and to understand what it means. And then on 6 p.m., she's writing that she's waiting for the saviors to come, and her phone shuts off. All these hours, we're sitting in Shoshi's living room and saying Tehillim. Her daughter was there and her grandkids also. They were playing very nice and quietly. They understood exactly what's happening. But every time that my mom texted me that they were at her shelter's door, I just picked up my head like this, looking at them, and they all understood that it's time to say Tehillim, even the little kids. And that sweet redhead girl, Shayna is her name. She's 7 years old. She's Shoshi's granddaughter. Yeah, she's on 2nd grade. She just started reading. And she's sitting next to me on the sofa for hours and saying Tehillim, almost nonstop. When her brothers and sisters are playing around, she's sitting and saying Tehillim. There was a part that one of her sisters told her, you don't really read, you just do, no. And she said, yes I am, I'm saying every word. And then every time she got to parts in the chapters of Tehillim that there are nigunim of Chabad, she started to sing it, so everybody will know that she is saying it. And we told her for a few times that she can stop saying the Tehillim because it's a long time for a little girl to say so many Tehillim. And she said, but I'm not afraid when I'm saying the Tehillim, so I want to keep on saying the Tehillim. And then she got to chapter 75, and we told her, this is the middle of the book, it's like way too far for you, you should stop. And I told her, you know, my mom's is 75, and her chapter is 76. So maybe you can say one more chapter for my mother, and then you will finish saying. And she was so happy to hear it. She said the chapter, and then she went playing. And afterwards, of course, my mom was talking to her, and we bought her a present. We bought her the book, Kocham Shel Tehillim, if you know. And I'm saying it's such a present for that little sweet girl for life to know the meaning of Tehillim. Because sometimes we say Tehillim because everyone tells us it's important, and we should, and it saves people, you know, and like all these things. But we don't really understand the meaning of what Tehillim can do. Yeah, Tehillim really, really, really saves. It's really a matter of life. It's life-changing. And my mother said on the video that she felt that everyone is praying for her. And really everyone was praying for her. Because those little kids were praying for her. And people here in Crown Heights were praying for her. Not only my kids, but women and men all over 717. They were just sitting and doing Chavurot Tehillim and praying for her. And in Berlin, where my son is, they also prayed for her. So when she's saying, I felt that people all around the world are praying for me. I mean, she was in such a high spiritual place that she believed and felt what she's saying. I mean, it's not that she said, I know everyone is praying for me and we just say it, you know, from our mouth outside. No, she lived it. And also when we wrote to her, I'm saying we because at the beginning I was just texting because it's Shabbos, otherwise Shoshi would text. But she told me what I should write. And you could really see that she's she's living the words that we're texting her, that she's safe, that no harm can happen to her, that everyone is praying for her. So after her phone died temporarily, Shabbos went out, and I was waiting because I was sure it's just a matter of time for the army to go and take her out. And I went back home, and time kept on going by. And I'm calling my brother after a few hours, and I'm asking him what's going on, what's with mom. And he's telling me, I'm standing 200 meters from our mom's house door, and I can't go through, I can't reach. Because there's heavy firefights outside our house. Now I didn't realize what it means, and I'm happy I didn't, because apparently there were terrorists in our house, 12 terrorists, it was their command, like their base, thank you. And for the next 36 hours, that's what we hear every time. We're asking whoever we can, military, cops, friends, everyone saying, we can't go through your mom's house because there's heavy firefights. Saturday night is gone by. I keep on saying Tehillim. Everyone is praying for my mother in our community. They said a lot of Sifrei Tehillim and also Sifrei Tanya. They were divided Sifrei Tanya. The Rebbe says that Tanya really, really saves. It's really, Rebbe said that even sometimes it's more than Tehillim. It's really, it's really important to read Tanya. And Sunday morning arrives, and I'm at home, and suddenly my eyes open, like you don't see what's going around, and all of a sudden you see it. And I'm looking around my house, and I realize that I left it Friday evening. It's still hard to hear the helicopters. We left it Friday evening to go to Akafot. I had many guests, and the house wasn't, clean or clear. And it stayed like that because on Shabbos day, I didn't do anything, and also afterwards. And all of a sudden I see what a messy house I have, and I'm thinking, my mom is gonna be saved any minute, and she's gonna come to my house because she's not gonna stay there. And I'm starting to clean the house and to organize the house so she'll be able to go in. And then afterwards I'm texting with a friend, and she's telling me, Bezrat Hashem, there will be big miracles. You will do Seudat Hodaya, your mom will be saved. And then she's asking me, did you already do a menu for the Seudat Hodaya? And I'm like, no, but that's a great idea. I'm going to do it right away. We should do Kelim for Hashem's Bracha, Bezrat Hashem. And I'm sitting down, and I'm writing on a note, Bezrat Hashem, Tafrit Seudat Hodaya for my mom's Tifin Terach. And I'm writing it by all the details. What kind of salads, what kind of toppings, what kind of desserts. And for the main course, I'm writing chicken. And I send it to my friend, and I send it to Shoshi. And she's jumping. I don't see it, but I feel it. And she's recording me a message, and she's saying, En simcha, ela bebasar uveyain. I'm making the beef. So I wrote it in my note that Shoshi is making the beef. And I put it on my fridge. Baruch Hashem, 3 weeks ago, we did the Seudat Hodaya. It was very, very exciting. My mom was saying, Tizmor Toda. We will show it to you later on. And Shoshi made the beef. And everything was exactly like I wrote it. I didn't give up on anything. And it was very, very exciting. So, Sunday, around 5 p.m., finally, a friend of mine who's in the kibbutz for Miluim. I keep on forgetting this word, so we can never say it. Miluim. Thank you. I heard this word. It's the fourth time I hear it today, and I still can't say it. So around 5 p.m. he's telling me that finally the fights around my mom's house are over, and that the survivors, force from the army is going to go in the neighborhood, and they're going to go into my mother's house also to see what's with her. And I give him her house number, and I send him that picture that you saw before. And I'm starting to send his moment to that because I was sure, I had such good feeling that she's alive, that she's well. And all she needs is someone to come in and take her out, safely. That's it. And for almost an hour, I'm saying this moment to them. I repeat it over and over and over again. And I realize no one is telling me anything. And I'm calling this friend, and I'm like telling him what's going on. And he's starting to, talk without talking, like normally. And he's saying, I told you in advance, if it's something that's wrong, I can't really tell you anything because I have no authority to say anything. And I'm like, okay, so what are you saying? He really tried to say something nice, but he couldn't. He was in such hard times. We were all his friends, we were all just begging him for information all the time. And he needed to say so many horrible things to so many friends. That the words that he chose wasn't the words that he wanted to choose, but that's what he said. And he told me, the Saviors first said that what they found in your mom's shelter doesn't match in any way the picture you sent us. And even though I don't think anyone can understand it in two ways, I asked him, what do you mean? Because I still didn't want to understand. And he told me, please, I can't tell you anything else. He didn't have to. But the other thing he said, that they found my mother's glasses. You saw her glasses, she was wearing glasses. He said they found it outside on the sidewalk next to her house. And that was very confusing. Because if Chas v'Sholom, the worst thing happened inside her house, how come her glasses are outside? And that was a very, very, very hard time for me. I was crying my heart out, and I really crying. And I was sitting in the house with my husband, and we were talking on the phone with Shoshi, trying to think what we heard, what's happening, what's going on. And I had a very strong feeling that I want to talk to a Rav. And also Shoshi said that I should talk to the Rav. And my husband said, what do you have to talk to the Rav for? I mean, it's not a time for the Rav to say something. And I was, okay, but yes, I really want to talk to him. So I called him. And I was really crying. I was crying and crying. And I didn't even understand how he understood what I'm saying. But he did. And he was asking me questions about exactly what I've been told and how they told it to me. And after a few minutes of conversation, he's telling me a life-saving sentence. He's saying, we ignore what you heard. There is nothing certain in the message you've got, so we ignore it. And he didn't say it like, maybe we should ignore it, because I don't think there's something real in it. He said, we ignore it. And he said it like it's a psak din. And for me, it was like oxygen mask. I could start breathing. And I felt that he did the psak din here, and Hashem, Bezrat Hashem, will do the same there. And we decided that we're not telling anyone what we heard. And we tell everyone that my mom is missing because her glasses are outside. And I reported her missing, and the police, what it apparently was very funny because I reported myself missing. First by mistake. I gave all my mom's details, and then they sent me a link to fill in. And I filled all my details, and apparently what they put on their records, it's not what I was telling them on the phone, but what I was writing on that thing. So later on, when we managed to get like connections from someone from the government who was there in the police and the missing people, and someone called me and he told me, I really want to help you, but I don't find your mother in the, in all the, and I'm like, how come? But I said it and I gave you all the details. And they were like, what was the social number that you wrote? And I'm starting to say my social number. And the name, and I'm like, oh, okay. So that's kind of the situation that I was in, so you can understand. And we ask everyone to keep on praying because we don't know what's with her. We think that maybe she managed to run away and she's hiding somewhere. We're praying that that's the situation. Or chas v'shalom, she was kidnapped by Hamas. But still, she's alive, B'ezrat Hashem. She's healthy and alive. And hours goes by, and Shoshi is telling me, you should tell your children to buy tickets to come back home, because she's afraid that chas v'shalom, that notice we got is gonna be the truth, and I'm gonna be alone. And I'm like a lion standing in front of her and telling her, no, I'm not telling them. And it's like this all through Sunday afternoon and night until 6 o'clock Sunday morning. She keeps on telling me, did you tell them to buy tickets? And no, I'm not. Huh? All the time, my mother's in the shelter with no phone, no electricity, no food or water. She had less than half a bottle of water, a small bottle of water. And she found some biscuits that was open in her safe room. And for 48 hours, she was eating a few bites of the biscuits every now and then and drinking a sip of water. She's 75 years old, Baruch Hashem. She's diabetic. And it's very hard to be like this, even if it's like, nothing happens and you just find yourself like this. But the fact that there was fights inside her house and outside her house, and she didn't know what's going on, because she was sure with all the noise that she heard and all the guns and all the missiles and all the bombs were Hamas trying to break her shelter and to murder her. She didn't know that some of these noises are the Israeli army fighting for her life, trying to save her, trying to kill the terrorists. She didn't understand how come my brother, who promised her that he's gonna come in Shabbos afternoon, and he didn't arrive. And he's standing outside her house and he can't reach her. And she didn't understand why I am not doing anything to save her, because she knew I'll do anything. And like this, she keeps on thinking all these thoughts. And on the same time, she's thanking Hashem non-stop. She's thanking Hashem for keeping her safe, and for thanking for people who are praying for her, thanking the Lubavitcher Rebbe. I think it's amazing. I think that being in such a low place of frightness and be surrounded with terrorists, and be able to be in a stable state of mind of saying, thank you Hashem that you're keeping me alive and you're keeping me safe, and keep on praying. to keep on staying safe. And the army, in the end, they broke her house with big bulldozer. And also, she thought Hamas is doing that. Yes, she heard like the beeps of the, like the big bulldozers. They go back and they go like toot, toot, toot. She hears it, and then he comes forward and then he bangs the house. And they really, really broke her house. Everything except for the shelter and the wall between her and the neighbor. And Monday morning, finds her after hours of silence because the terrorists were killed on Sunday, almost evening time. And then the survivors went in, but apparently they didn't go into her house. They went into another house and another shelter. And what they saw there, unfortunately, was common to see on houses in the kibbutz on the same day. But it wasn't my mother's house. But this was the nisayon that we had to go through, and also her. And she opens her window a little bit just before dawn on Monday morning because she can't breathe anymore because the dust from the house breaking, she can't breathe. She's also has she has COPD and she's hardly breathing and she's very weak because she has no food or water. And she said that to die like that in her shelter, it's not an option. She also said, I think she's saying it also in this movie, we'll show it to you in the end if you want. She said that she found a block of papers and a pen, and she wrote in the dark. She didn't even know if she managed to write it well or not. But she wrote, according to her family's history, that all of them, except for her parents, died in the Holocaust, were murdered in the Holocaust. And her parents, my grandparents, they died like really young, 30 and 50. And she said, according to her history, she's gonna live at least until the age of 100. And afterwards, someone took out these papers from her house, and she took a picture of it and sent it to us, and it's really, really exciting. Yes, I have it also. I didn't send it, but I have it. So she opened the window, and what did she see? It's nothing that you can imagine, that you can see. Because when she locked herself in the shelter, she was living in one of the most fancy kibbutzes in Israel. Everything was very, very clean and green and very nice houses. And what that she sees is like breaking her almost down. Rivka, can you put the video of the shelter for a minute? And she's managing to take some furniture from the shelter and put it just down the system. This is the window. That was her garden. And then what's left from the houses in front is just the shelters. So it's really shocking to see the neighborhood like this and to try to start to understand what happened to people living there. And she managed, Hashem knows how, to climb and sit on the window. She said afterwards that she couldn't have done it on herself because she really can't. She's hardly walking. And she said she's sure Hashem just picked her up and put her on the window. And she had a heavy blanket with her. She threw it outside the window because she saw what's going on there. And she knows she has to jump on it. and she jumped. She was very, very brave. And since then, she kept on saying, there is no good without bad. Because she did got harmed from falling on these big blocks from the house that was breaking and from the trees that were, all, yeah. But that's what helped her to get up. Because she said that if it wasn't there, and she wouldn't find anything stable to hold on and try to stand up, like, she couldn't stand up and she would stay there lying on the floor. And then she's looking to the entrance of her house, and it's all like nothing, like a lot of blocks, broken blocks all over. And she's turning to the other side, to the neighbor's house, which stands. And she's starting to walk there with a blanket. She's barefoot because she woke up on Shabbos morning and she just had the clothes on her, and she didn't even have socks on her feet. And she puts the blanket on the floor and she's tapping on the blanket, and then she's picking it up again and put it like this. She was walking all over all these things that she couldn't walk on. And just outside her neighbor's door, there's a bottle of grape juice standing outside, half a bottle. Her neighbor said afterwards that no one was drinking it, and it was standing for weeks in her fridge. So she put it outside on Friday evening, and she wanted to throw it away on Shabbos day. So it was outside, and for my mom she didn't think twice. She drank it. We wouldn't drink something standing outside, but she did. And it gave her the sugar back, and it gave her strength. And then she kept on going, like a low walk towards the road to see if it's empty, to see if it's clear from danger. And on the grass, she finds a bottle of water, and she drinks it. And I was so excited to hear it, because I told her, Mom, it's amazing how much Hashem wanted you alive. He did everything to keep her alive. And he also sent Eliyahu Hanavi a few steps forward to give her the presence that she needed to survive and to keep on walking. And she keeps on walking, which is a miracle by himself, because my mother wasn't walking at all. She was like inside the house. She was walking for a few steps and she couldn't anymore. And she finds Kalnoit. It's like a golf cart, light, like very light. They were using it all over the kibbutz. My mom had one outside our house. She wasn't walking nowhere. She was just riding this one. And she sees it standing on the